Hello and welcome to SiGMA TV. I'm pleased to have with me Rhis, Group CCO of Zimpler. Rhis, welcome with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to
With
speaking.
pleasure. When first Zimpler started with us back in 2019 with some amazing goals, what were those goals and how 2020 worked out achieving them?
We had some very aggressive goals, definitely. Around 2019, we really changed track of where we were headed. We switched from a kind of niche mobile e-wallet solution into taking on the instant banking arena. The overall goal was to really bring some free competition into the markets, take on a kind of monopoly situation and bring down pricing, which we've definitely achieved. Then I'd say for 2020 specifically, we really focused on transaction volumes in our specific goals. We were more focused on getting clients on board, showing them that the product is great, and improving the kind of operator-supplier relationship. So we focused more on transactions than revenue, and in any case, we exceeded our goals in 2020 by over 100%. So it's been a really, really great year for that.
You are playing a key role redefining the traditional model of workplace in the gaming industry. Are we seeing a kind of balance within the gaming industry?
Yes, I would say definitely. When I first joined iGaming 15 years ago, I found myself the only female on a kind of 40-person team. So finding female colleagues or mentors or superiors was impossible. It just didn't happen, and there were obviously struggles that came with that. But I think iGaming, more than many other industries, especially in recent years, has really embraced kind of diversification especially within, I'd say, gender diversity. So I'm seeing a lot more C-level positions taken by women, general decision-making positions taken by women, and it's definitely really going in the right direction. It's gone from people like myself being told to kind of keep your head down, keep quiet, to now being asked for our opinion, which is it's a turnaround completely, and still a way to go, I would say, but I'm really happy with the strides that the industry is taking.
Going back where it started, you were working in a very small affiliate company named Nathan Casino, and back in the time you were sold like kettles. Um, the M&A action made some work, and you were being acquired by a bigger company. What was the feeling back then, and how did it go?
Yeah, I wasn't super excited about the acquisition. I would say this is where I really discovered that I like small companies. I like the startup environment where it's very few people, there's no set structure or process, and kind of everyone can get involved with everything, which I really loved at I think Casino. We were just 4 people, 2 owners, and myself and Petra taking care of the sites. And that was great. We could decide how we worked, what our work was, from where we worked. I did like 3 weeks around Italy whilst working. You know, there was no office. It was really very free environment. And then being sold onto a slightly bigger company, I was not excited about it, but I eventually started to see it as a new challenge. When I say we were bought by a bigger company, Catena was 15 people at that time. It wasn't like a massive, corporate structure, but it was different. It was very much office focused. You had to collaborate a lot more. There was more of a slight hierarchy. You had a boss who you had to get things approved by. So it was definitely different, but I still saw it as we were still a small company, and now we had slightly more resources behind us to lead the growth. So continuing to grow the site, now working with a bigger team, being able with my boss Klaas to build a really solid team. It ended up to be a really good journey, and that's kind of where I really understood that startup culture and the growth phase it's the fun part. When I joined Catena, we were just 15 people as a company. When I left, my team alone was 15 people across two countries, and the company was around 400 people. So it was not the best day when I found out, but it ended up being a really amazing 4-year journey of growth for myself and for the company.
Right. But then once you built that whole journey and you became head of sales of Catena Media, you just decided to have a move again to Zimpler for a new challenge. What was the motivation back then and moving to a company that just started?
I really felt like I had done as much as I could do at Catena. I had grown a lot. Like I say, the company had grown a lot. I had learnt so much along the way about building a team, defining kind of sales processes and structure, about being a good leader. That's a really hard lesson I learned over those 4 years. And it came to a point where it was now 400 people, and there wasn't a lot of new innovation that I could do. We could take small steps forward and we would continue to grow, but I wasn't as excited about the kind of the next 4 years. So I really started kind of half keeping an eye out for an opportunity to do it all again, but this time as the boss. So it was great having a class as a boss to support me throughout that journey, but the next stage I wanted to be that decision maker, you know, or be in the room when decisions were taken. So yeah, that was the motivation, I guess, for leaving. I wanted to do it all again, see if I could do it again, and go through that kind of growth journey.
And you have also your own blog. Do you still find time to write outside of the industry of iGaming?
Yes, I try and find time. I started my blog over 10 years ago now. When I first moved to Malta, I wanted to kind of, I think I didn't even know the word blog then, you know. I was just writing online about this big journey I was taking and leaving my hometown. And I wrote a lot about moving here, new experiences. After 10 years, it gets a bit harder to think of fun and new things to write about, especially on such a small island. I feel like at some point you've kind of done it all. But I still like to find time. I find writing really soothing. I find your brain can get full of work and ideas and life stress, and kind of sitting down and writing things out really helps me organize my thoughts. So yeah, I try and find time. I'm taking the blog on a more, I would say, general lifestyle track instead of Malta specific. So I can write about personal development and just things in my life, not necessarily related to Malta, so that I can find kind of joy in writing again. So it goes up and down, but I always try and find time for it.
Great, great. This year has shown to be really tough, really having an impact on either the industry or other companies. However, Zimpler has been growing, and I can see that the team in Malta is like getting bigger and bigger. How did you achieve that, and how did it happen?
Yeah, we were very lucky because we were such a small company already that for us, even 1 or 2 new clients or a very small amount of growth was pretty life-changing. So we weren't too affected by what happened this year. But what we did is we came in, I think, with a good value just in time. Our value was to come in and bring down pricing in an arena which had become very expensive, which ended up fitting perfectly with everything that happened this year. Operators were really looking to cut costs wherever they could. So for us to come in with a product that works and help them lower their costs, it was like really good timing for us. So we still managed to grow pretty strongly. With that growth, it meant I could finally start hiring a team here in Malta, which has been so much fun. It was very hard kind of hiring and onboarding during a global pandemic. Especially my first employee, Lucy, we went through the onboarding process basically when there was the kind of harsher lockdown in Malta. So we didn't meet until 3 or 4 months after she joined the company. All of the interviews were digital. The onboarding process was completely remote, all of the training. So that was terrifying, but it ended up working really well. It means we've had to learn to communicate really, really well. And now, yeah, we're 3 people in Malta now. The team in Sweden has also grown. I have 3 or 4 people in Sweden, and we're hiring for around 8 new people across the 2 offices. So yeah, I feel like we kind of took this year and really ran with it and made a positive out of something that's been quite tough.
What have been the highlight for 2020? How can you summarize it?
Yeah, there's been so many for us. It has been a really fun year. I would say a couple of the highlights is definitely hiring the first employee in Malta. It took just over a year before we got to a place where I could comfortably hire someone. So that was a big highlight. Also taking the marketing team in Sweden under my wing as well. Marketing was kind of a bit floating around the company for a while. So to take them in my department, give them a bit more support and resources was also a really big highlight. We're going to focus a lot more on marketing going forward, which is why we're working together a lot more. So I'd say those were the two kind of personal highlights. And then for Zimpler, it's just been the reception from operators in a market where there is a very big actor who is already very well known, very established. It's been really nice to have trust from the operators to take over their operations and help them move forward.
Great. And for 2021, what are the goals for Zimpler and what are your goals?
Yeah, for Zimpler, the goals next year, it's pretty daunting. We have big plans. We want to expand into a lot more markets, so very big geographical expansion. We will explore new segments. iGaming is our main focus right now, but we want to diversify a little bit. So there'll be a lot of focus on, which segments will be next. So, I mean, by the end of next year, we could be already on our way to becoming that 400-person company that we aim to be one day. So that would be Zimpler's goals. My goals will really be around kind of being a bit of maybe not a mentor, but a voice in the community about gender diversity and leadership in general. I really also want to make sure that I maintain really good feeling and relationship with my team as they grow, as we become more and more expanded across different countries. It's definitely going to be my aim to make sure that we're still a close-knit team who work together really well.
Well, thank you for watching us. This was SiGMA TV. For more content, visit sigma.world.